And we are back.
We back.
Hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, man, with so many things going on around the NFL right now, I mean, you know, it's just news on top of news on top of news. Be rich.
Yes.
Just news everywhere. And look, we have to get right into the news. But before we do, I have to tell all the Waterboyz and the Water Girls out there, make sure you support the show. Make sure you go like, subscribe. Make sure you go to Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review, 5 stars. That helps us grow in the pecking order and in the algorithm that people love to talk about, so more people can find our show. Help us get that support so we can continue to support you by giving you the great content you like. And hey, and if you want some dope hoodies and you need something to wear, because it's about to get real cold in the city of Atlanta, go and get you one of those hoodies. See, Be Rich rocking the Blood Pressure Birds sweatshirt, and I'm rocking the if you can survive 28-3, you can survive anything. And I feel like that's fitting for the guy that's our new president. Go to 285clothing.com. That's 285clothing.com and get something for that Atlanta Falcon fan or Atlanta sports fan, Hawks fan, Braves fan, whatever, in you or in your life.
You know something, Trace, that you said last week, man, a couple weeks ago, and I see people listening. You said in audio land, man, if y'all could leave comments on our audio podcast, that helps us out and rating. Man, people have been leaving comments ever since you told them to do that. Thank you, bro.
Man, that's nice. Hey, look, it really does help us. And so there's like a lot of times we can tend to only think about the YouTubes and the Instagrams and the TikToks and all that, but there's a whole group of people who listening to us right now. Shout out audio family that just get the audio and while they're working or doing whatever. And so we need to make sure that they're taken care of, make sure we shout them out, and then they take care of us at the same time.
They're working.
Now let's get back to it, man.
Get to it.
I wish I had the noise like the old bulletin sound. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, not the horn, but the bulletin sound.
Just tell me, do I do
breaking news? Like breaking news is coming.
I'll do that sound.
I just did it.
You just did. I thought you were having a stroke, man.
I think Aaron had a good night last night, man.
He had a real good night. But listen, man, with all this news going around, I think I heard on my way in that now we're up to 9 NFL teams that are looking for head coaches. 9 NFL teams, and if you're one of those 9, which our home team is, it is imperative that you are able to identify the best guy, period, the best guy for you, and then go and get that guy. And so we have our guy, the guy that the city of Atlanta loves, who brings all the news and the sports information to you. Falcons got to get their guy. We got our guy in the building right now. Let's give it up for the great D. Orlando Ledbetter. D-Led, what's up, my guy?
What's up, Trey? And Be Rich, thanks for having me on the Waterboyz show.
Yeah, man.
Yes, man.
Yes.
Well, welcome back to the show. Look, let's get right into it. Mm-hmm. A lot of changes happened up at Flowery Branch. A lot of people in the city of Atlanta heard you speak on the coaching changes and things that have been made and the new hire with Matt Ryan. But now we get to talk to you about it. So before we dig into Matt Ryan, I want to just ask you a question when it comes to Coach Raheem Morris and his staff. Was it a surprise to you that Arthur Blank decided to pull the trigger on the firing of his staff?
Yeah, it was for Raheem, because I thought they'd done enough to warrant another shot at it. Finishing with the 4 wins there, 8-9, given all that had happened, with the receivers coach and special teams coordinator, I thought he'd get a shot to clean up his staff and maybe move forward. But the ownership felt a clean break and a clean reset was what was needed. So they moved on from Terry, Fontenot, and Raheem. And then they compliment Terry by saying they got all this talent. So it's like if you let him restock your talent, but, then you fire him. So it's kind of contradictory. But that's where we are. Clean reset, clean break, and now we'll see what they do as they try to move forward. We've seen some early signs with the hiring of Matt Ryan as the I got to get it right, president of football.
President of football.
Not president of football operations, but president of football, and they're moving forward.
Okay, and what Arthur Blank said, he said everything involving a football and grass.
And grass, yeah.
Look, to your point, and I know there are a lot of people who feel differently, but I definitely felt like Terry Fontenot deserved a little more stay here in the city of Atlanta. I think Terry Fontenot, I know a lot of people point to the quarterback position, but Terry Fontenot, he found us some talent, whether it was free agency or in the draft. So I'm with you. I think Terry Fontenot definitely did not leave the cupboards empty, as people say times when you have someone who didn't do their job. I think he left it not all the way full, but stocked pretty good to where you can cook you a good meal, whoever comes in afterwards.
Yeah, no doubt. They have, you got start with Bijan. Got Bijan, Drake London, a quarterback highly drafted, coming back from injury. Got to see what you could do there. The offensive line, that's Dimitrov's left. That's his gift. And the defensive line, that's Fontenot's gift, with all those young guys loaded up on that side of the ball. And Devon Diablo's still there, Jesse Bates. AJ is Dimitrov. And Xavier Watts is Terry. So from the last two general managers, left you a little something to cook with when he come in here with the new general manager and coach. That's for sure.
Yeah. So how do you feel about Matt Ryan coming to the organization? He seemed to bring in a good mindset. He seemed to be saying it starts from the top.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Dungy yesterday, and he likes it. He thinks it's a good deal. You got a player like, John Lynch going to the 49ers, Matt Ryan coming to the Falcons to help establish the clear vision for what they want to do on the football field. And, Matt learned under Mike Mularkey and Mike Smith and those guys. So, they're going to be some power football elements in there. We're not going to see spread and pistol and them getting in a shotgun on 4th and 1 and doing, some of this new wave stuff. So, they knew how to win, and he's going to be able to articulate that to his coach and his general manager. And if everybody is on the same page and in line, you could dictate that to the locker room. Somebody's got presence, can get the group moving and motivated. That's what Coach Dungy said. Then you got a winning setup there. So they got a chance to reset here and maybe change the direction of their franchise. The culture of losing has been established over 8 years. Now it's time to get rid of that culture, replace it with some winners, and get back in the winning column here for the Atlanta Falcons.
All right, I want to ask you two questions. The first question I want to ask you, and take your time with it. I want to ask you, who do you want to see be the Atlanta Falcons coach, offensive coordinator, and that next and GM?
Yeah, I think I want experienced people. I don't want people coming in here guessing for the first time. I thought that was Raheem's downfall. He was a good coach. I know he can coach. I seen him on the field. But he had 2 first-time coordinators. So, that wasn't going to go. Like Mike Smith came in, he had Mike Mularkey, he had Van Gorder, but, he could run the defense too. So you can have one young guy. But I want to see not a coach that's coming in here for the first time. Clint Kubiak's supposed to be a good coach, offensive coordinator for Seattle. Aiden Durden, defensive coordinator from Seattle. But they're going to be coming in here for doing stuff for the first time. And they don't know. So I'm going established coach. Harbaugh's the best thing out there. Stefanski. I'm not that high on Mike McDonald. People said he wasn't a leader of men in Miami. Kind of different, eclectic cat. So maybe that works. But those three. But the one I'm hearing a lot of good things about is Anthony Weaver, the DC and the Miami,
right?
who came from Baltimore. Big Chuck Smith's had good things to say about him. He's going to be a great head coach one day. So, but I know that. So Baltimore knows that too. So he might end up in Baltimore.
Might end up back at home.
Might end up back at home. So, I would say Weaver, and I need some play callers that call plays before. Now I haven't identified who those guys are. But I don't need anybody out here, trying to play the pistol for the first time, or Cliff Kingsbury running that spread stuff. Got Washington to the championship game a couple years ago, but that's what I need. Somebody who's not going to be in calling their first game, wondering if they're supposed to be on the sideline or up, and then wondering, got to call timeout to get the plays in. We saw all that. I want a smooth operation with some veterans in here, and that's going to be something that the team could buy into. They're not second guessing the coaches. They know how to win. They know Harbaugh knows how to win. They know he been in the Super Bowl. He been in the playoffs 12 times. So it ain't gonna be I thought you meant this. No, he's gonna be real clear, on what he wants to do, how he's gonna win, and he's got to get the staff and the players in line with them too.
All right. The second question is: we know that you the hound dog and know how to sniff out all the news. Who are the Falcons looking at as head coach in that matter? Who do you think they're targeting right now?
Yeah, well, they gave us a blueprint. They've been helpful this year by announcing the interview. So, they had 6 people in so far. But I talked that it's, Harbaugh was one they announced on Monday. Stefanski, McDaniels have already been announced.
Anthony Weaver.
The 2 Weaver, Aiden Durden, and Clint Kubiak. Those are 6 guys so far. They haven't. They interviewed 5 people for the president's job, which we knew was going to matter. But so that pool is going to be in the general manager pool. Now they also got out there Robert Saleh, Jeff Hafley from Green Bay. They can't. Hafley's available now. Saleh's not, because you got different rules on when you can interview coaches and stuff during the playoffs. So the guys that were alive last week, they were able to get to Kubiak and Durden. Now the guys in the divisional round, you can't get to them till after their game. So Saleh would make sense because he head coach before. He's cool with Ulbrich. They don't know, they didn't do a great job with the Jets, but, he knows what, he's been a great assistant coach, great defensive coordinator. That combination could work too. So, that's where we're at on the coaching search. Tomlin is not in play. I think he's going to take a year off is what we're hearing after resigning in Pittsburgh yesterday, and give it up for him. 19 years, never lose.
Yeah, they'll give it up for Mike
Give it up
Tomlin,
for
man.
Coach
We got to
Mike.
give it up for Mike Tomlin, man.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
Yep, no doubt. And and Coach Mike and Coach Raheem are real tight. So they'll be. I'm sure they'll be conversing here in the next couple of days. And if Raheem gets a job, he's gonna try to talk him to come with him probably.
Yeah. So the last question I want to ask you is this. I don't know about this Kevin Stefanski guy, man. Like, give me the end on him, because I don't understand how, he's up. I know he got 2 coaches of the year in Cleveland, but Cleveland is Cleveland. So explain to me why he's sought after and why he's respected.
Yeah, you got to go back to Minnesota. He was with Minnesota.
Mike Zimmer, right?
Yeah, he was up there for 16 years before that. He he had a top 10 offense with Kirk Cousins in 19. Worked his way up the ranks. Good guy and all that kind of stuff. Has been in the head coaching position. But his offenses in Cleveland didn't really do much. He had Chubb and Baker Mayfield. That carried him to the playoffs one year. They went to the playoffs again twice. But no big wins there. No indication that, hey, this is a Super Bowl winning coach. But he's been a head coach before. He's likable. He's an offensive guy. Could probably get the Falcons offense cranked up some more. The end there in Cleveland wasn't good. It wasn't his fault, that they gave Deshaun $230 guaranteed and then he got hurt. He didn't have a quarterback at the end. And, we know when you don't have a quarterback, it's tough sledding. So, people like Kevin. So, but that's liking somebody and the results.
Yeah, I want results,
whether you
man.
like them
I
or
want
not
results.
doesn't really, you gotta address the fact that he did some losing in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Man, I said on another show we did last week, it seems like the national media really wants to see him get a job. Because I haven't seen a coach pushed the way I hear his name being pushed. I mean, I hear every time it's brought up, Kevin Stefanski. It seems like the media really likes him.
He's a good dude. I mean, we meet him at the Combine every year, and even like Coach Rule when he was at Charlotte, everybody liked Coach Rule. He's at Nebraska now, but it goes a long way when you treat people with respect. Now when your name come up, you got a lot of people speaking good about you.
Got a lot of people rooting for you.
Yeah, a lot of people rooting for Kevin, Coach Kevin. I mean, you don't even call him Coach Stefanski. You call him Coach Kevin.
Yeah, but like you said, like people liking you, being a good guy, and winning and results are 2 different things.
Right.
But I'm gonna go back a little bit. You talked about Clint Kubiak. I will say this: he will be a first-time coach, but I want to get your thoughts on this. The one thing that's intriguing to me about Clint Kubiak is the fact that he has a Super Bowl winning father that he could pull maybe some kind of consultation from. He can pull information from. I would imagine his father would probably come in like Mike Shanahan did behind the scenes and kind of help him out a little bit, tell him how things should be structured, give him some nuggets here and there. Now, it'll be on Clint Kubiak to take those nuggets and decipher what's the good ones and what's the ones he doesn't need because he has a better way to do it. But that's what's intriguing to me. What do you think about that prospect, even though he's a potential first-time coach, but he has a father that he can potentially lean on how things should be done?
Yeah, no doubt. And that's Gary Kubiak. He was John Elway's backup for years under Coach Shanahan.
Yep.
Ran his stuff down in Houston with Matt Schaub as a quarterback. Had some really good teams in Houston. So yeah, him in the background would certainly help his son out. And that's the offense. He's a Shanahan disciple, outside zone, power running football. You know, and they did it last year with little Kenny Walker and Zach Charbonnet. They run that offense. I mean, Sam Darnold's the quarterback, but
Yeah.
it's how he runs those running backs through there and throwing to Jackson Smith for Jigman. We can give Darnold credit for that. But, yeah, the fact that he runs the Shanahan offense, that's what the Falcons ran to get to the Super Bowl. That's what Matt Ryan, even though he fought Shanahan at first, you know, he ended up making adjustments with turning his back to the line and that kind of stuff. But that would bode well. That would be high on their list. They know the vision. They know how they want to play. They know he can do it. He's been coaching it. Only problem with Clint, for me, is, and he's not going to do good in the interviews from what I understand. So, but the football, maybe you get somebody else that can do the interviews. But the football is there. But the only problem I have is he's been with 5 different teams the last 5 years. So I need to address that on why he's had the hot coach. I mean, you know, it's okay if you're climbing up the ladder and stuff, but if you're blowing up the spot in every place, then that's different. So I need to know about that.
I know he was in Frisco, then I know
with the Saints last year.
he got to New Orleans. He was the hot coordinator. They had the hot start, and then things kind of, after they played the Eagles, things kind of went downhill, and now he's in Seattle. What other stops?
Yeah, it was Minnesota before that, and I think it was another team before that.
Okay.
That stood out in our research.
Yeah, wasn't Gary Kubiak in Minnesota in the background in some form or fashion at some point?
Yeah, he was at the end. I know the Falcons, some people thought he was coming here when
Dan Quinn was the coach, right?
Yeah, when Dan was a coach and when Shanahan left to go to San Francisco. But they ended up with Sarkisian because Kubiak, you know, I think he was tired or, you know, had some health issues. There was some family stuff going on there. But, yeah, he ended up in Minnesota with them, and he had the Clint with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had Clint because he's got 3 sons coaching, but Clint's the oldest.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm feeling, guys? Like, I kind of want to go with the coach that calls the offensive plays. Let me tell you why. Because when you're doing good and you're hot, you can't get hired by another team because you're the actual head coach that calls the plays, i.e. Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan. So I kind of want the offensive guru guy that's calling the plays. He can't pick our offense apart when we're doing good. You can't go hire, you know, like when we had Dan Quinn, you know, they got Kyle Shanahan because he, you know, his offense was the hottest offense, and that was Matt Ryan's MVP year. So I kind of want to go with that with some experienced play callers. I think one thing about Clint Kubiak is that he's actually called plays in NFL games. I think Raheem's downfall was he hired 2 coordinators that never called plays in games. They were disciples of geniuses, quote unquote, but they never called plays. Zach Robinson never called plays in a game because Sean McVay, he called the plays. So that's how the kind of guy I want to go, and I want to make sure our defense stays the same. I like to see Jeff Ulbrich stay in place because he did such a great job this year. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like that for sure. Yeah, because, you know, we saw what you saw last year. You know, Zach could get on a roll in some games. You know, that Arizona game was awesome.
Bajan got him on. Not Zach.
Yeah, that 3-play series was hot, and you can give it the running back credit for that. But then you saw at the end of the game, the last game 17, they're still calling timeouts after – you know, they had a delayed game after a timeout. So, you know, so it was some organizational issues. Then you see the players yelling at coaches on the sideline. You know, just some dysfunction there at the end. But, yeah, certainly a veteran play caller. If you can keep Coach Jeff, that'd be great. But if you're going to give the coach authority, he's going to have some say in his staff.
Yeah, exactly,
So, yeah. But if it's somebody that Ulbricht's cool with, that's solid, then, you know,
Yeah, then he might want to go ahead and retain him.
Yeah, the key for Saleh's going to be who's his offensive coordinator because his offense did nothing.
Did nothing.
Absolutely nothing
of course,
with the Jets.
Of course, part of that was, Aaron Rodgers got hurt. But still, still, they weren't able to get anything off the ground.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me ask you this. The GMs, what's a name that's starting to surface to the top or names that you're hearing out there that are the real hot candidates for possible GMs, and what do we need to know about them? I know you have to have heard something.
Yeah, as soon as the job came open, the next day I got a call, and it was about Ian Cunningham, the assistant general manager for the Bears. So I've been able to connect the dots on that. Matt Ryan and Ryan Poles are buddies. Ian works for him. Good thing about Ian is he's been with the Eagles and the Ravens for like 14 years. So he's worked with Ozzie. He's worked under Howie. And, arguably they got the two best rosters in the league. So he had to learn something about roster building in those two stops. And then we've seen the Bears get down last. He only been with them for a year, so we can't give him all the credit for the Bears. But they're in the playoffs right now, so he had something to do with that. So he's a young up-and-coming guy that they interviewed. One of the other kids out of Kansas City, Tillis, I believe. I think Brant Tillis. He helped the 3 Super Bowl teams with the Chiefs, but he's not with the Chiefs right now. I'm drawing a blank on where he is. But those were the 2 that jumped off of the list of guys but he was more administrative type, So, he could come in and help with the business side of it. But, those were the 2 names that jumped off of the list from the guys that the Falcons interviewed. Josh, I'm drawing blank on his last name with the 49ers. Their assistant GM, too, is another one that you got to give him credit for. Josh Williams, I believe it is, for credit for how the depth that John Lynch and them been able to build out there.
100%.
Yeah, with all the injuries this year, and they still in the divisional round, throwing flanker reverse passes on people and stuff like that. And with the 4th-string linebacker.
Man.
They got Eric Kendricks off the street.
Yeah, but I hadn't seen Eric Kendricks.
Like,
when I saw Kendricks, I was like, boy, they got Kendricks back. I mean, he used to be a really good linebacker. He and now still making a difference.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. The Ian Cunningham guy, like, off his background, hey, look, I don't know who else the candidate, but I'm going to tell you right now.
That's who you want.
Hey, that's who I want. He come from 2 organizations that I respect when it comes to team building because they both start in the trenches.
Right.
The Ravens and the Eagles, both of those organizations start in the trenches. I love the way they do things. So if he can bring that mindset, well, if he learned that mindset, because we had Thomas Dimitroff, I make him out to be a villain, but he wasn't the worst GM. But I mean, hey, he came from the Patriots, and we didn't get the Patriots success. But that's not to say he wasn't a good GM. So hopefully Ian can bring some of that same mindset and possible success from the Ravens and the Eagles down to Atlanta. I like it, man. I ain't gonna lie. That's what I want.
I'm with you, man. I've been hearing a lot about Cunningham and the fact what you just sold me on. You said that the guy he's under, that Matt Ryan and him are friends. You said he came from Ozzie Newsome's tree.
Yeah, yeah.
So, hey, Ozzie Newsome, man, he's good in my book, so I want Cunningham. He the guy, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, let me ask you a question. Quarterback situation, man. Michael Penix. Kirk Cousins recently did some maneuvering with his contract where I think this year it's going to count like $2 million against the cap. Where are the Falcons going with quarterback? Do you see Kirk Cousins being cut after June 1st, or do you see him being here next year? And where's Michael Penix's timetable to return to be actually play football?
Yeah, Kirk's deal is restructured. Now they could do what's called a June 1 designation on it, minimize the cap, give him some flexibility to go look for a starting job. And, hey, if he, they kind of said it's leaving the door open. If he doesn't find something, they got an opener here. They got a backup quarterback opener here. So, and then Penix, his timetable is 9 months from November to 25th. So you just count that out. That's the 11th month. That gets you back by August. If it's 12 months, then that gets you back 3 months later, September, October, November. Then your season's halfway gone. So you got to find somebody that can hold down the spot so you don't have to rush him back. From the left knee surgery that he had, which is, a little bit easier than coming back from Achilles. But yeah, you gotta get it back and running. You gotta get his straight line stuff first, and then you gotta get the agility back. And range of motion will be key for him. But not expecting him to turn into Michael Vick when he comes back with a left knee and 2 right knee surgeries. So he's a drop back quarterback, and you're gonna have to protect him a lot better than you did last year.
Who do you see right now if they were going to go out and get a quarterback? Who do you see us going out to get right now?
Ooh, I want Malik Willis. Man, Malik did his thing in the playoff game, or was at the end of the season up there for the Packers. He came off the bench, had a couple nice runs, hit a bomb. He could definitely hold it down for a couple games for you. I don't know if you need him for 8 games. We haven't seen him play that well over a long stretch. But, know him from his Westlake High days, and so on the team with A.J. Terrell, they ended up at Roswell when they changed coaches and stuff. So, then resurfaced after, I think it was Auburn, resurfaced up at Liberty and did his thing and got a shot with second-round pick for Tennessee. So that's who I want. I don't want Jacoby Brissett or one of these old guys, Gardner Minshew. You've seen that already. But yeah, get somebody that can come in and play if something happens to Mike. And Malik Willis looks like he can do the job now.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Some things I've been hearing about Matt LaFleur. I heard that they wanted to agree with a contract, whatever, but I'm hearing that they haven't gotten the contract details, and they're trying to maybe trade him. Do you think the Falcons could possibly be in the mix for that, or what are you hearing about that?
Yeah, I'm hearing they're gonna work it out. Ed Policy's the new main guy up there in Green Bay. That's Carmen Policy's son, the old 49ers guy. So, but they're probably trying to work it out with some stipulations. It could fall apart. And he was here with Matt. He was his quarterback coach. I don't know. Different degrees on whether, they are best buds or not. But certainly from his track record and what he's done in Green Bay, whatever problems they had in the past, if he's the best coach, then they got to put it aside and, figure out how to make it work. I wouldn't give up any draft picks for him. Our Falcons are already down draft picks. So
we got 4 picks this year?
5. But, so I'm not trying to trade for him. But, yeah, if he comes free on the open market, hey, I'm calling.
Yeah, I mean, now we can trade Zachary Ricochet from the Hawks side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't been able to keep up with the Hawks, man. I know Trey got traded, but I haven't been to the games. I've been missing my Hawks fix. I like to go down to the games and watch it in the fan section and stuff. But I'll get to it here.
Yeah, you'll get to it, man. I mean, well, look, it was a busy season for you, which football season always is. Let me ask you this: what was the most surprising thing that happened in the Atlanta Falcons season this year?
Well, I thought what was fun was to watch James Pierce come from all the way, from the first day of training camp to the end of the season, how he got better, dealing with us day to day. His agent is one of my friends, Tori Dandy. So I explained to him, like, hey, man, we just here for football. We're not talking about, you and your, girlfriend and all that stuff, the NBA player. We're just here to talk about football and watch you develop. And so the first day of practice, when he's getting in fights with everybody, I got all excited because, we haven't been seeing any fights out there.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, they're like, what's wrong with him? I was like, no, he's going fast, and the old dudes are mad.
Yeah.
He bringing the heat. And they're like, man, slow down, rookie, slow down. And so they had to coach him down, like, hey, you got to slow down, because, he getting Jake Matthews mad. I'm like, oh, so I was like, okay, Jake like, yo, young buck, slow it down. So to see that, I was right on there. I'm like, oh, no, this is cool. Everybody was like, oh, what's he doing? He's starting fights every day. When you saw another player come from across the field and get a piece of him, they were mad. They were mad because the rookie was, I was like, oh, man, and to see that in the games, transfer that he wasn't just, in practice wrecking stuff. He could wreck games. And, you saw him get better. They playing him about half of the snaps. That's a good thing. He can go up 25% in snaps next year because they only played him about half of the snaps.
Yeah.
So now that he know what he's doing, he got a spin move down. He's fast. He ain't a one-trick pony. That was the big find for them. That was, so I'm cool with Terry trading the first-round pick. I know I wasn't at first, but that was the fun thing to watch that kid, just dominate in practice and then show it on the field. That was the big takeaway from this season for me.
Man, tell me about the other rookies. Of course, we want to hear about Jalen Walker, Xavier Watts, Bowman. And you speak about Bowman last and then kind of go into what you're hearing about his rehab.
Yeah, Jalen, good kid. I went and he was passing out some stuff on one of them cold Tuesdays in Tucker at the Baptist church up there during the Christmas holidays. So I got to chat with him away from the building a little bit. It's just as good as advertisers. Everybody talk to him. Because sometimes when you're talking in the locker room, you got the PR people around, and they're just trying to, make sure, they don't get in trouble. So you go and talk to him away from the field. And he's, a good guy. I'm like, man, why are you out here in the cold doing this? Oh, and he's like, hey, I got to give back. These are the people that's cheering for me when they see him on the big screen and stuff. So, and his football went well. Raheem and them brought him along slow. He kept, firing up with the hamstring and so forth. So they had to kind of schedule his play, and there he still got the 5.5 sacks. Same thing, only about half of the snaps. So, his play level can go up. So that was big. We talked about Pierce. Then we got Xavier Watt. Wow, he just had to start trusting himself over the top because he had to help them corners out, C.J. Henderson and them late, coming over the top, making interceptions and whatnot. And he doesn't mind mixing it up in the box.
Yeah.
And what Jeff Obrick told us late in the season that was real important is that, hey, they didn't have to, have a strong and a free safety. They just let them play sides.
Okay.
So both of them, if they had to play down on that side, they just went down. If they had to go back and play over the top, they played over the top. So both of them have the combination of free safety and strong safety skills. So that's good. That's great for the back end of defense moving forward. Now, Billy Bauman, man, Dave Archer loved that guy. I wrote something about him getting the business at one game, and he was like, what are you looking at? He's all over that guy. And,
they gave you a hard time.
Oh, yeah, we talk back and forth. We cool, though. But I appreciate him always supporting me, too. So
yeah.
Billy Bauman, when you saw him, he was glued to them slot receivers. I mean, you thought he was running the route. He was getting to the ball and messing it up and stuff. So his injury, I don't have a real update. They kind of, once they put him on IR, it's kind of the doctors aren't available for us to talk to anymore. But, I know they want him back. D'Alford stepped in for him well, but those four rookies did a great job. And we forget about Jack Nelson, the tackle they took from Wisconsin. So
what's up with him? Is he
developmental guy? You're gonna always need a tackle.
Gonna need a swing tackle. You
swing
think he may
tackle.
develop into a swing tackle?
Yeah, that's the hope that he could develop into a right tackle. Yeah, swing tackle, right tackle, starting out. But
he didn't get no time. Right?
He didn't get no substantial time. Maybe some special teams stuff there late, but I don't. He got in late, and everybody was kind of like, "Why was he in there?" And they was like, "Oh, he wasn't really in there." So I had to go back and finish the year in review to check up on him. But it's good for an offensive lineman not to play that first year because you got to put on some more weight, get stronger in the weight room because he ain't fighting 20-year-olds no more.
Man, D, you said a triggering word.
Mm-hmm.
In there, you said two words really together that triggered me, and I'm sure they triggered B-Rich too.
Okay.
Special teams. Ooh. What in the world? What in the world happened to the Atlanta Falcons special teams this year?
Yeah, when you don't have great special teams play, that speaks to your depth. It speaks to the backups on the defensive side of the ball. That speaks to your whole 90-man roster.
It don't speak to your coach?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he told him to go tackle. I'm sure he told him to go tackle. Now, did they go tackle? Is another thing.
That's a good one.
Marquise ain't, he didn't tell him not to go tackle. And that hole on the right side kept opening up, so we'll put the hole on him. So, because the right side on the kickoff return, people would jet to the middle, then boom, and it was open. But I'm sure whoever was supposed to be over there was closing it down. Late in the season, D closed it down a couple times. But that wasn't closing. And special teams coordinator, he responsible for them kickoff returns, the block kick. They knew the field goal kicker had missed 7 field goals last year. They didn't bring in no competition. So we can put, Marquise didn't have the greatest year, but the front office didn't either. So, they went and got some people on special teams. They got Felipe Franks. They tried to get help, but he was a walking penalty. They didn't address the kicker. They didn't address the kicker, and they didn't address the headhunting. And D'Angelo Malone got hurt, so that was one of your main headhunters too. Cordell Hodge had a shoulder at the end. That was one of your main headhunters too. But you got to have more ready to go. You know you need more ready to go.
Yeah.
So who's on that practice squad that can go down and cover kicks? So, granted, you want to develop people on that squad, but you need some headhunters on that. Well, Raheem's like, we can't call it headhunters, but you know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. We need some people to go down there that'll get that ball, and knock it off for somebody, get it back for you. So that that's the intriguing thing about Harbaugh too. He's a special teams coordinator by trade, so he can come in and fix that right away for sure.
Yeah.
I think doomed the Falcons this season. I want to see what your thoughts are on this. Losing our tackle, Caleb and the backup, I think that kind of messed up Zach Robinson's play calling from the beginning. I think that kind of messed up our offense. It kind of just scared them as far as Penix. What do you think the cause? Do you think that was part of the cause by us losing Caleb and then losing the backup in the same week?
Yeah, Storm Norton. Yeah, it did because, they came out trying to run everything behind Jake Matthews and on the left side, and that didn't work out too good. But Elijah Wilkerson surprised them. He a little shaky at first, then he elevated his level of play in the run game, And they able to, if you saw every game this year, the first play was to the left side with Bijan. And so Wilkerson stabilized that spot in the run game. Now, we saw the pass protection. You never want to get in a drop-back game with this line. It's an outside zone line, and you want to play action and throw off of it, which was a mystery why they were in the pistol trying to do play action. But, hey, that's another day. But, the tackles threw him off early. Wilkerson stepped up and played pretty good. He's going to be a free agent. Somebody's going to pay him a little bit of money. He might not be back. So then that's where, Caleb comes back, Storm Norton, and you got to see if Jack Nelson can play.
All right. The Ray situation, man. Did you get any insight on that, man? Like, what was the deal with that? Why they just released him? What was going on? I know you found out some information.
Yeah, I talked to his agent, Jeff Whitney, and, we know him, Adisa Bakari out of D.C., two of the best agents in the game. And, they wanted us like, hey, let's get Ray situated with the Giants. Dayball had him in Buffalo, and they're going to get him squared away. But we'll get back to you. It's we'll let the whole thing go. It's all, it's got stuff to do with Curry. Ain't got nothing to do with performance-based. There was, issues in the building with Coach Hilliard, who for Ray, he was a father figure, and the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. So, and then, any details from that, all we have to go on is who was started playing and who was not playing. Casey Washington was supposed to be playing. He ends up on the inactive list. Cordell Hodge ends up hurt. Drake London ends up yelling at coaches on the sideline. So we don't know what was going on with the receivers. Receivers didn't take the switch from Penix to Cousins well. There was some friction there. You can't just change out a quarterback and think things gonna run smoothly, and it didn't. So that's the best we got on that. And then you got Ray Ways. I don't pay. I told Jeff, I see what he tweeting and all that stuff, but unless he gonna do an interview, I don't know what that stuff means.
Like
that. Y'all can figure that out for me. I'm not gonna figure out. I'll show it to my daughters. Be like, what's this? I need you to talk to me.
So you say they didn't take the switch from when Penix was the quarterback to Kurt, or Penix becoming the guy from Kurt being the guy last year?
Yeah, from Kurt to Penix.
Oh, that's
when
what they didn't take.
Yeah. So
Go in on that.
They forced it in. You know, at the end of the season they had to play him because Kurt's leading the league in interceptions. That was the only shot they had to get to the playoffs. They thought they could win that Washington game. They knew they could beat the Giants. They had to win that Washington game to get in, and they almost did if you had a kicker. But they messed up the kicker thing. That's a continuing theme. And then over the off, they put in Penix with no competition. Kurt's healthy now. And, Penix is learning on the job. So, and the receivers like, I want the ball. So, yeah, they didn't work out. They didn't hit the ground running. And, then you end up, he gets hurt. One game, Kurt starts. He doesn't do anything. But he's been a consummate professional throughout. That was the Dolphins game. Then Penix gets back, then gets hurt again, so then Kurt's back up. Now, everything is up in the air. You don't really have a shot to win anything. But, he played as best he could down the stretch. And, now everybody's got to try to get to the other side of everything. He said on the quarterback show, he told us, hey, I felt, misled, right away. So now you got trust issues. That they drafted a quarterback after giving me $140 million. So, they made it work as best they could, but, it's probably best. It's probably best that you just have one of them moving forward. And then that way you can't pick and choose which camp you're in and so forth. But I know for a fact when Matt Ryan was young in his career, Dimitrov didn't want no veteran backup. He wanted, he didn't, because he's like, if he gets hurt, we messed up anyway. And then he didn't want Matt looking over his shoulder young in his career. That's why you had Dominic Davis and some of them guys. But they did want Chris Redmond. When Chris Redmond went in 2009, it was like, okay, if Matt's hurt, we just got to be able to get through a couple games or two. And Chris Redmond showed he can get through a couple games or two and ended up, finishing his NFL career out here in Atlanta. So you want Penix, you want somebody that can get you through a game or two. You don't want competition because then that ends up, split the locker room. So that's how you address that quarterback situation moving forward.
Man, that's interesting about you saying that the receivers were upset or didn't like they didn't adjust well to the change. I never knew that. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, you saw Mooney. They spoke when they played. They spoke when they played. When Mooney was with Kurt, he came here with Kurt. He got down. Last year, he gets hurt on the first play. He's trying to come back, but then when he gets back out there, he's kind of not catching stuff that he was catching the year before. So he never came around, and even he didn't get down even when Kurt came back. So you got one good year out of Mooney, pretty much. Now you're looking for another receiver.
Looking for two receivers. We got rid of Ray. Ray had a decent year, so go ahead.
What do you think the Atlanta Falcons decide to do about Kyle Pitts?
I would at first I was like, no, I'm not franchise tagging him, but I'm not giving him a long-term deal. I'm like, Kyle, you did good last year. Let's see you do that again. And I put the franchise tag on him and say, hey, here's $16 million. He'd be happy with that, I would think. and say, hey, we got you at 19. You were young and immature. We expected some ups and downs. You smoothed it out. Now let's see you do it again, because I don't want that to just be. I don't want it to just be that was a contract year.
Yeah.
You
don't want the Albert Haynesworth situation.
Yeah, we seen that a lot. People ball out that contract year, then they like, okay, go back to eating chips. No, I need you to keep playing.
I would like to see. I would like to see him do it again, and then we figure it out then. But
right.
I'm pulling for Kyle. But I just don't want to see. I wouldn't be so adamant about Kyle if we would have got him later in the first round, like 25. The fact that he was the 4th overall pick, it's just like I just don't want to lose him like that. You know what I mean? Because I think it's some worth to him.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree. Granted, he was the highest drafted tight end ever. At the time, my guys were like, hey, he might affect 10 to 15 plays a game. We've probably been seeing 5 to 7. But anyway, but they were like, hey, get the tackle. He's going to play 60 plays a game for the next 10 years. And so Penny Sewell was the play there.
Detroit got him, right?
Detroit got him, and they're anchored and took off faster than the Falcons. They came back to the pack this little bit this year, but it's not because of him. So that was the move. And then you looked at Parsons. He had problems at 11. Jamar Chase got down to Cincinnati, helped them get to a Super Bowl. So and Devontae Smith with the Eagles. So they passed on some offensive weapons, a defensive weapon, and an offensive lineman to take Pitts for number 4 overall.
Yeah, I think because he was drafted number 4, we are extremely hard on Kyle Pitts because he hasn't become the super duper star that I think people feel like a number 4 drafted player, regardless of position. People think you need to be an all pro at all times. But I mean, when it comes to if he's a good tight end or not, I definitely think Kyle Pitts is a good tight end. I definitely think he can affect games. Now, whether or not he should have been drafted at 4, that's another discussion. But if he should be a player that's on the roster and on the Falcons roster, if they can work the financials out, I wouldn't mind seeing Kyle Pitts stay. I think he can make plays, and I would love to see an offense coordinator that could open things up. I would love to see what he could do with like a Kyle Shanahan or a Sean McVay. It's not a lot of those guys out there. now mind you, I'm naming guys where it's only 2.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's only 2, maybe. Yeah, you know what I mean? But I would love to see what Kyle Pitts would look like in an offense like that, or with an Andy Reid or somebody who the quarterback number 1 wants to get them the ball and they know how to put him in position to get the ball.
Yeah, and Kyle was buying into this offense because I was like, hey, are they running the routes that you ran with Matt Ryan the first year? And he's like, no, we're not even doing that. So it took him a while to get used to them in-cutting routes. And, he was taking hits at the end, snagging the ball out of the air. They didn't send him deep that much. I think that's because they couldn't block it up. But, he showed everything you thought he could be last year. And the big jump was his catch percentage rate. And, it went up from 61 to like 75. So he was catching everything that they were throwing. We get most games 7 targets, catch 5, 6, catch 7. You could play with that, and 3 of them were for first downs. So, he was keeping the chains moving. He had 5 touchdowns. He never had more than, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's each year of his league. So, kind of breakthrough year for him, but you could definitely, when you got players that could play, you try to keep them. You just try to keep them as best you can. I know sometimes, like Foye Oluokun, you couldn't keep him. He played up into a contract that
he's doing
good
couldn't
match. Yeah, he's doing pretty good in Jacksonville. Yeah,
man, that's what's up, Foye.
Yeah,
Foye came.
He was a free agent, undrafted free agent, right?
I thought he was
I think we drafted. I thought we drafted him. Yeah, we
pick out of Yale,
drafted him.
former safety up there in the Ivy League.
Yeah, man, he became one of those guys. Man, so we getting close to wrapping this thing up, D. So as you see right here, you see Matty Ice for president.
That's right.
And then you see MFGA, make the Falcons great again.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got to get another T-shirt coming.
I thought he was talking about MF Georgia Bulldogs, but I'm glad it cleared it up.
Oh, yeah. Make Falcons great again, okay?
What is this guy talking about,
man?
we
can put that on the hat.
Yeah, man, make the Falcons great again. So I brought that up to say every time a president comes in, they always ask the president, man, what's your first 30 or 90 days? So, what's the thing you would like to see from Matt Ryan in his first 90 days as the Atlanta Falcons president of football?
I want to see, a good coach and general manager put in, and I want them to see to open the practice back up to the media because they ain't been good since they closed practice to the media, and they keep us out watching the team and see we can report better and tell the folks what's going on. So that's my wish. Get the good coach, get the good GM, open practice back up to the media. None of this 12 minutes or whatever they doing. And then that way the fans could come back and we got better stuff for them. But yeah, good coach, good GM, and open the practice back up to the media.
Man, look, you heard it, Matt. You heard it. Good coach, good GM, and open practice back up to the media, and the Waterboyz show better be a part of that media as well. Let them know,
That's
D-Leg.
right, that's right, Matt. First order of business.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, he know we used to be out there at practice. He know. I've been losing ever since.
Hey, D. Hey, man, one time we got a chance to go up to the Falcons, and we did an interview on Zach, and it went viral, man. It hit NFL.com, it hit CBS, ESPN. And you know what? We haven't been invited since.
Yeah, well, they need to have y'all back.
Thank you, man.
But they got their own media stuff now. They think they try to, we know what's happening, but we got traditional media. We got the Waterboyz. Y'all can do y'all stuff, too. It's enough for everybody.
There we go,
enough
man.
for everybody.
There we go. Yeah,
yes.
listen, man. It's enough for everybody. Y'all ain't got to Frank White this situation and say,
That's right.
I don't care if it's something in the locker room. I don't care if it's on the 30-yard line. I want in, Falcons. I don't care where it happens. We want in like Frank White, my guy.
That's right. More access for everybody.
Hey, look, D-Leg. Well, look, man, I'm good, man. Is there anything else you want to ask?
Man,
D-Leg?
Hey, you really filled us in, man. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it, you guys. Yeah, I got to get back to, my new sports editor. He covered the Pistons up there, so he knows what's going on and has been helping us out on the beat and everything. So he freed me up for a couple hours to come in and holler at you guys.
Yes.
I really appreciate it.
Man, tell him we said thank you.
Thank you.
We'll get back on Harbaugh watch. He's supposedly up in the Giants today. I got to see when the plane touches down in the A, and he heads over to Arthur Blank's building in Buckhead.
So they are going to do an in-person interview? I know so far they did one over the phone, but
yeah,
they
they
had
did
one
a
scheduled
phone
in person.
one, but supposedly he's doing in person with the Giants today. Tennessee and the Falcons are up. His guy told me that the teams want to release the information now, and he couldn't tell me which day he was coming here. So I'm anticipating Thursday, Friday at the latest.
I'm making a prediction. If he comes here, Arthur Blank not gonna let him leave. Arthur Blank gonna take him on the boat, or the plane. What he got, a boat or something?
I'm sure he got all that.
He got the yacht.
Yeah.
Just don't take him on Lake Lanier, Arthur.
No, he's got to follow the Rooney rules, though. He got to, you got to interview your minority candidates in person, too. So, they got Weaver already virtual.
But they got to get him in person.
But they got to get him in person before you can, hire him. You don't want to get fined for violating the Rooney rule. You just got fined for tampering. So, follow the rules.
Man, so D, and of course we could hit you up personally outside of the show, but man, after the Senior Bowl or the Combine, if we want to let both of those get done, man, we'd love to have you back once again. Kind of discuss some of the things that you saw up at the. Are you going to the Combine? I know you always go to the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, we at the Senior Bowl. I'm going to the Super Bowl this year.
Don't get into it with Kirk Cousins this year, Super Bowl, all right?
Nah, man, Kirk good. We got peace. We got peace. And the Senior Bowl's kind of we're up in the air depending on who the coach, when the coaching stuff goes down.
Okay.
But yeah, we're kind of playing Senior Bowl by ear. They just released 130 players that are going to be there. If the Falcons aren't going to be there with their new coach and GM and make them available to the media, then we might bypass the Senior Bowl and get ready for the Super Bowl, the Pro Days, and the Combine.
Okay. All right, man. Hey, look. Well, like we told y'all, man, news flying all around like the bulletin, man. I need the bulletin sound so I can hit it, man, for you. And yeah, there we go. Hold on. Let's hear Man, somebody called 911. Somebody called Grady, boy, and I ain't talking about Grady G.
Hey, man.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, so listen, man, we told y'all we going to have the news for you. Everybody out there in audio land, man, you see that? We brought the great D. Orlando Ledbetter in. Whether you love the Atlanta Falcons or just love the NFL, this man brings the knowledge to the teams, and we hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that 5-star rating. Let them know that you love the Waterboyz, man. And on that note, we're going to get on up out of here, D-Led, man. So we're going to close this thing on out. So Anything you want to say before we go?
Oh, no, just thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure coming on the Waterboyz show.
Man, it's all you know we fam, D-Led. So listen, man, like we always say, the Waterboyz show, we represent Atlanta because Atlanta represents us. On behalf of myself, Trey, the great D-Led, we got B-Rich, Aaron, Pittman, and Doug, man. The Waterboyz show, we are out.
Kill the camera.
Seem to be the problem here, my brother.
My head hurt, man, ever since the Super Bowl loss, man. I haven't been able to recover.
You know what? I've been dealing with people with this problem for about 8 years now. I think I know exactly what you need. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Got to put you on the BPB therapy. This is the blood pressure birds. You see that? Blood pressure birds. You have to put this on every morning. Every morning you get 2 compliments. You're going to feel a lot better. Put that on.
Man, I feel so much better, though.
I told you, Dr. Black, get you back on track, Jack.